Hey guys, who's hungry? Welcome to my kitchen. It's Deb from Bowl Me Over. I'm so glad you're here today. We have a yummy meal, and that is my Big Mac casserole. And it is full of good stuff. It is tater tots with ground beef and some burger sauce. It's cheesy, it's tangy, and it's tater tots. So you gotta love that. It's really easy to make too. So let's walk through the ingredients. Let me show you what we need for this recipe. Ground beef. It is a Big Mac casserole after all. We're going to use some spices, and that is salt and pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. We have some burger sauce. So remember that burger sauce we made the other day? You can use that in this recipe too. Some cheese, some olive oil, onion. We're going to use about half that onion, and some dill pickle relish. Tater tots, of course. That's all we're going to need for this recipe. Okay, what we're going to do first is get our hot pan going. And we're going to start with the onions because we want them to be soft. So I'm going to clear just a few things out of the way. And I'm going to dice my onion. And I only need about half the onion for this recipe. Seems to be fairly cooperative today, so yay, it's going to be a good day. You've seen me do it a dozen times. We're just going to slice right down those lines there. Couple times in the middle. And for this recipe, we need about a half cup of onions. And if I miss saying something, which, I half the time do, don't forget, you can check everything in the comments and that'll tell you what we need for this recipe. And I always like to just run my knife through the onions just to make sure they're diced up pretty well. Over on the side, I have my skillet over medium heat, and it feels really good. I'm going to add the olive oil, and then the onions. Ooh, that was a nice sizzle. I like that. I want to saute the onions for about 3 to 5 minutes until they're translucent, meaning they're almost clear. And we don't need them browned or anything, but we just want them to be nice and soft before we move on to the next step. Give me a minute to do that. 2 to 3 minutes is really about all this is going to take, and we'll be right back. All right, so the onions look great. They're just kind of lightly golden brown. That's exactly what we're looking for here. So next in goes the ground beef. So what I'm going to do is just kind of break it up with my hands as we put it into the skillet. So let's do that next. And this uses 2 pounds of ground beef. And here's another comment I had. A lady says, I'm not cooking for a Marine Corps barracks. I don't need 2 pounds of ground beef. I get that. There is a spot on the blog. If you go to the recipe card, there's actually a slider bar that will reduce the, if you want to make half the recipe, it will actually reduce all of the ingredients and cut them in half for you, so you don't have to do the, all the math stuff yourself if you're not mathing well. Actually, I think it's really smart to use it too, because then you're not kind of reading into it, or I know I use it when I cook for smaller. So something to keep in mind. If you want to use 1 pound of ground beef, you could certainly do that. Just follow the recipe card. So we're just breaking up the ground beef. Into the skillet it goes along with the onions. And what we want to do here is just cook everything until there's no pink left in it. And I'm going to let that cook and do its thing. It's going to take 5 to 7 minutes. So not long, but certainly too long for you to sit here and watch, right? So let's get this sauteed, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, guys, this has been going for about 5 minutes. It's all nice and browned. There is, I use the 93.7 as far as the ground beef goes, but if you use an 80/20, make sure you drain it. Drain it well. You'll want to make sure you do that. So the next thing we want to do is sprinkle in our seasoning. and our relish, and that's a 1/4 cup of relish. Get all that good stuff out of there. I want to give this a mix. Just get it all combined. So we want that seasoning to be everywhere. Next up, we have about a cup of sauce here, and I want to add about 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup to this pan. Because after all, this is a Big Mac casserole, right? And then about a 1/4 cup, this is probably about a 1/2 cup of cheese. I'm gonna turn this off and just stir everything together. You're gonna laugh at this one because you're like, Deb, I don't know. This tastes like a Big Mac. I kid you not. I think you're really gonna like it. Next up, we're going to take our casserole dish, spray it with non-stick cooking spray, of course. And then we're going to add all of this yummy burger to our casserole dish. And I know that's a lot. Again, you could always cut it in half, just use a 8x8 pan instead of a 9x13. It'll be fine. All right. Now, Big Macs are topped with what? Cheese, of course. So we're going to take our cheese and we're going to spread it right over all that ground beef. Make sure there's cheese in every bite. That will be perfect. And next are the tater tots. I have a friend that makes sure they're all lined up perfectly in a row. I'm not that person. I just want to make sure it's one even layer. Just one even layer. But you could certainly do that because we want these crispy. You don't want them soggy, you want them crispy. Pretty simple, right? Into the oven it goes. I've had my oven preheating, 350 degrees. This takes about 40 to 45 minutes. So let me put this in the oven. We'll be back in a bit. Hey guys, look at that crispy tater tots. Look at that casserole. Doesn't that look terrific? Now remember, this is a Big Mac casserole. So obviously, when we serve it up, oh my gosh, we need some lettuce, right? Because Big Macs have, do Big Macs have, well, they do in my world. So there you go. And a little tomato. And a dollop of that yummy burger sauce. Oh goodness. Doesn't that look terrific? Okay, let's give it a try. So again, it doesn't get much easier than this. It's just that burger, some seasoning. Into the oven it goes, topped with those crispy tater tots. And that's, you know, that's the key. You need to keep it in the oven long enough to crisp up those tater tots and make that like the perfect bite. And I'm trying my best here. Isn't that funny that a casserole could taste like a hamburger? But this does. This tastes like a Big Mac. Kids will love this. Adults will love this. That is just yummy food. So don't forget, if you missed the recipe, it's right below. Just check out the description. And give it a like, give it a follow. I would sure appreciate that. It's Deb from Bowl Me Over. Hope to see you next time.